if we could just even play with it, if we could just, you could step out of the monochromatic chokehold one baby toe at a time. Hiya, and welcome back to another Reading Wednesday. It's your girl, Logan, also known as Sketchbooks and Bookbooks, and it's the end of the year, baby. It's the end of 2021. We all made it, and now it's just time to wrap it up, right? Like, what did you do? What did you read? Did you surprise yourself? And I certainly did. I guess the best thing to come out of this pandemic was me really kind of getting back into reading, and I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of how many books I read, and I feel like my stats showed, I'm back on the wagon, back on the reading wagon, as it were. Okay, yeah. And I feel like this is actually my first video with, this is off topic, as always. But anyway, this is my first video where I'm in my Deku hoodie. And I wear it all the time. He's back there now, but that's my boy. That's my boy. I love him. Anyway, so I feel like I did so much, and I'm just wearing this Deku hoodie. But whatever. I'm just gonna wrap up my year, talk about what I read. I went through the reading challenge on Goodreads and stuff. I read, but I'm just gonna give out the total because it's not a surprise. 64 books this year. 64 books. Now that's including a lot of comics or whatever, but we'll get into that. I don't know how people feel about that. I kind of feel like comics are oh, that doesn't really count. But I mean, you read it with your eyes, words you consumed, and perceived the story through, so it is reading. I'm pretentious. I don't know. Maybe I'm just I'm too hard on myself. I don't know what it is, but I'm you did read that. You read those books. Yes, they had pictures, but you read them. That's the point. Anyway, yeah, so I read 64 books this year. I might read 65 after this book is done. This video is done. We don't know. But yeah, so I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm how should I start this? I guess maybe I should be broad, and talk about my favorites of 2021 first. So I have 5 favorites, and I didn't really try to get 5. It's just when I was going through it, which ones I'm really glad I read those this year. And number 1, I think just it's still just my standout book of the year, Parable of the Sower, Octavia E. Butler. I'm was it published that year? Absolutely not. But this will forever be the year that I met Octavia E. Butler. I encountered her in her existence and the mark she left on writing, and how revolutionary she was to be a Black woman, imagining herself in people who look like her, people who relate to her in the future. It's awesome. I'm just I'll never forget that. I'll never get over that. It's so good too. I loved Parable of Sower. It was one of my best reading experiences of the year, and it came on pretty early. I think it made me feel like reading in the summer again as a kid. I was speeding through that thing. I couldn't put it down. It was so good. Now it's hands down my best read of 2021. Best one. I really like it. Gosh, that was good. Anyway, Parable of the Sower. Second one, Some Other Now by Sarah Everett. That one broke me. I was crying. Have evidence. Posted it on my Bookstagram. That one broke me, and I really loved it. Also because I think all this time I was I thought, I'm just not into the whole boy next door thing. I'm not into the idea. It's not a look. It's not for me. And it's girl, that's because you couldn't relate to it. Okay? They were falling for Stacy, who looks nothing like you, and they would never mistake her for you. So I'm how could you really enjoy that perspective? And then Sarah Everett was nah, I'm gonna give you the boy next door thing, and it's gonna be a Black girl. And she gonna be in the middle of these 2 brothers, and it's gonna be cliche as heck, but it's gonna be new, because it's gonna be it's gonna be targeted towards an audience who's never been targeted before, And I loved it. I loved it so much. And I'm so happy. I'm still so happy for Black kids who are growing up, and they will have all these books now. When I was growing up, when I was reading young adult, I didn't even really look for black girls to read about. I didn't even look, it was like, it wasn't an option for me. And now these kids, they have these books, they have like just a million to choose from, and that's like so awesome. I'm so happy for them. I'm not jealous at all, because I'm still reading them too. Like, it doesn't really matter, you know, that it is young adult, and it didn't stop my growth at all, but obviously, but it just means a lot to me. But some of it now was really good too. I loved it. It just made me feel all types of good. And the drama was delicious. It was delicious. And that was such a fun video to film too. Anyway, number 3, Black Rednecks and White Liberals by Thomas Sowell. He is a black professor, and he pretty much like just studies his he studies history, and that one was just really, really cool. I don't know if it's like the first nonfiction book I've ever read, but it kind of was. And that information, it was just like, it was really, to get all that information, I read the whole book aloud, and it took me months because I would read like one essay at a time. It was just a collection of essays on different topics. And they were just, I couldn't have gotten through without reading it out loud. That's how dense the knowledge was. So, but it was just invaluable knowledge. Like, I'm really happy to know that, to read that book, and I would recommend it. It's really good. But, and then the second one is also nonfiction, what I just finished reading in 3 days, no less. America on Fire by Elizabeth Hinton, which was a history of black rebellions in the US, what the media painted as riots. I have a problem with my R's and riots. The media painted them as riots, you know. Meanwhile, the Tulsa massacre occurred, and I don't believe that was painted as a riot. Like, white people slaying hundreds of black people, that was not considered a riot. And at times, you know, most of the time was even backed by the police, you know? So then, but for black people to like have a rebellion, and that's painted as a riot, like, why are they so mad? Why are they so mad? So, that book, I put it off for so long, because I had that book for like, I don't know, in the middle of this year I had it, I feel. I just wouldn't open it. I wouldn't crack it open. I wouldn't read it, because I knew it would be upsetting, and I didn't want to be upset. And I don't like being upset. It's not like a fun feeling. And you really just have to swallow your feelings with that book, like, because it's nothing but facts and events laid out before you, you know, organized so beautifully by Elizabeth Hinton, and with her own, you know, commentary, but not much. Like, legit, it's just facts, just a timeline of events, what led up to this, why the LA riot occurred, Rodney King, like, I could do a whole video on that book alone, but like, it's relentless. What it almost creates as a sense, like you almost feel like you're in it, like you understand what the black people of like the 60s, the 70s were going through, with constantly dealing with the reaffirmation that their lives were not valuable, that their lives were not justifiable if lost, you know, for no reason at all, for like a traffic stop. That didn't matter. You don't matter. Nothing matters. Doesn't matter if you're a child, doesn't matter if you're a father or a mother, doesn't matter if you're in front of your children or if you're literally carrying a child. You could die at any moment, and you don't deserve justice for that. That is what they were just constantly battered with. You know, the world telling them, America telling them that. And then like, you just have to keep, and it's this vicious cycle of like, just mistreatment. Then they get mad at the police, you know, who are mistreating them. Then there's this riot, and then the government and the city promises to do better. It doesn't do better because they don't care. It was heartbreaking to read. It was sad. And it's like, I mean, I haven't cried thinking about it, talking about it now. I definitely could cry, you know, because it's crazy. And I was like reading about, it was like these 13, 14-year-old kids jumping on the backs of police, throwing rocks at them, stopping them from arresting their, you know, black strangers they didn't know, but they were black, and that was enough. And I'm like, I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have made it. I would not have cut. I wouldn't have made the cut to live in that time. I definitely would not have. Like, it's just the gaslighting of it all and the stress of the entire nation telling you that you mean nothing after like carting you over here. You never had a choice of home. You never had a choice of home, but your home's not going to be here even though you're stuck here now, you know? And it's like, dang. So that book is definitely hard to read. Like, I was right to be scared. I was right to be scared, but like, I'm glad I didn't put it off. I'm glad that I was able to finish it like in 2021 when I first picked it up. I'm proud I got through it, and I would recommend it to like anybody. I'm like, that book right there, it's like that's why the critical race theory debate exists. That's why people are like, oh, you know, should it be a class? I'm like, honestly, don't even just do like required reading, and I feel like you would be good, because that one is, it's so good. Anyway, I spent a lot of time on that, but it was good. And then my last favorite of 2021 was Speak, the graphic novel. I've already read like Speak, I think it's up there. Yeah, it's like right here. This baby that I got, sorry Deku, that I got from thrift store, I'm pretty sure. And I read it in one day and just loved it ever since. Like, I think I would reread this book. I think I tried one time, I got like halfway through, I don't know. But I love Speak. It has a place in my heart as just like, it's one of the best novels on that subject, on that, you know, difficult, heartbreaking subject. And of course, Lori Halse Anderson experienced herself, which is awful. But that's why she was able to portray it so well too. I love it. I mean, I've seen the movie too, but Speak, the graphic novel, she just wanted to put the story kind of explore the story in a new light, you know, and really, I don't know, like put it in a different art form. She had a foreword, I believe, that I read. Deku! Rude. Okay, so anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, she had a foreword talking about that and everything, but I really loved it. Like, the way they adapted that was so good. I thought it like really enhanced the story in a way. I really want to buy the graphic novel too and like put it up there, of course, and have it right side by side with its, you know, the original. Anyway, but yeah, so those are my 5 favorites of 2021. And let's see, my standout authors to 2021. First one's gonna be obvious because I already kind of ranted and raved about her. But Octavia E. Butler is my favorite, and I do want to read more of her work. This year I read Parable of Zoa, Parable of the Talents, right, which I really adore and I will buy at some point. And I really hope they like me. I would love to watch. I was reading about like an adaptation of it, like maybe a TV show or something, or maybe a movie, but I would love to watch that too if they would do it right. I'm scared, but you know, I would love to watch it either way, honestly, because I just think it deserves more attention. Because that book, like it takes place not in the future for when it was written, and now it's pretty current, right? Like it's kind of like she's living in 2022, 23, 24, right? So we're right there, and honestly, it's weird and scary how accurate Octavia E. Butler kind of was. I'm just like, girl, what was that? How did you do that? How did you know back in the 80s what would happen? I don't know if I can trust you on that. I don't know, given what seems a little suspicious, how accurate things were. So, it's a good book. Good entertainment, if you can call it that. Don't know. Anyway, but yeah, that was really good. Octavia Butler, I'll read more of her. So what did I do? I read Parable of Zoa, Parable of the Talents, and then I read the graphic novel of Kindred, and then I tried to read the actual novel, but then I was like, I feel like I know everything that happened, and I do think she actually got better writing too, because I like her writing in Parable of the Sower better than Kindred. And then she has the Wild Seed series and stuff, or the Pattern. I don't know what it's actually called. The Pattern is something about like superhumans or something, or immortal beings. I'm not really sure. I kind of want to check that one out. I'll just read whatever I can get my hands on of hers, honestly. But yeah, and then my second standout author was Elizabeth Hinton, because America on Fire, I really just like have so much respect for her putting together all that like research and information, I guess, and then also going through it too, because I know it was hard to do that. Like I couldn't imagine just like really looking for that information and reading about it and putting it all together. Like that would have been such a burden on me, emotionally and mentally though. So I just really have like a lot of respect for her for that. And I'm like, dude, I can't imagine. Like I just read what you did, but I know there's so much work that goes into putting a book together. So yeah, a lot of respect for her. Standout author for sure. So she came in at the later half. She definitely blew me away. Okay, so third one, Sarah Everett, because Some Other Now, I just loved it so much. I really did. I don't know. I mean, that's the only book I've read of hers, and I know she has others, but I can't remember what they are right now. And I can't remember if I was interested in reading anything else either. I have my eye on her now, right? Like I have my eye on her. That's why she was a standout author, but like I'm not sure if I was like anything. I knew there was something else I wanted to read of hers. I'll have to get back to that. Another standout author was Tochi Onyebuchi. And mostly he stood out to me because he is a man and he wrote women believably. He wrote women like they were people, and that shouldn't be something you have to get pat on the back for, but at this point, male authors are honestly terrors on the page at this. I mean, when it comes to writing females, it's like, just what is going on with you? Like, do you not think we have brains in these skulls? Like, I'm so confused. It's awful. I don't know. But Tochi, he did a good job. I was like, you had sisters, didn't you? You had sisters and friends with like women, not expecting anything else. You were just friends with them. Great. Love that. But yeah, so I liked him. He was pretty good. I think I read War Girls, and then I read Riot Baby by him. So just two, and I didn't really like War Girls. Neither of his works like really got me, but they got me thinking, and I appreciated them. So, and like I said, I'm honestly patting him on the back for doing the bare minimum, because in like his competition, he's reaching for the stars. I'm gonna go on a tangent real quick. We're gonna go on a tangent. We're gonna go to my boy Timmy Chalamet, right? Timothy Chalamet, whatever. That dude. He was able to be like one of the judges or whatever the heck that meant at the Met Gala, right, this year. And honestly, that dude, like, I know he tries at fashion, and that's why he gets so much like cred, right? Like people are like, oh yeah, he's so good, you know, he's so styling, Timmy looking good, look at you, dressed up, But a monochromatic color scheme really got that boy by his throat. It's really grabbing him by his neck. And I'm just like, I swear to gosh, like I just don't, the only reason Timmy has gotten so far is because men do absolutely nothing. You know, he ain't doing nothing special. He's really not. But the fact that he just puts a drop of effort in and everyone's just, oh my God, this man's styling. Oh wow, he's really stunting on him. And he's not doing much. Baby boy said, oh, it's the same color. Put it on me, yes. Oh, it's all the same color, magenta, the exact same shade. Oh, it's a look. And I'm like, if we could just even play with it, you could step out of the monochromatic chokehold, one baby toe at a time, you know, like we could just do different shades of the same color. That's still monochromatic, right? And then once you get comfortable with that, you put in some patterns. You start pattern mixing, but with the same color scheme. Then, right? Not pattern mixing, but you put in one pattern, right? But it's all the same color. And then you pattern mix. And then after that, you actually, you know, get some sense of style. I need him to try a little harder. But that was just my analogy to how it is with men. Like when men don't try at all, the few that try just a little bit, it just catches you by surprise because you forget that they could do anything but wipe their behinds, you know? I feel like these glasses, also another side note, I'm so sorry. It's very late if you can't tell. Brain is not functioning as it normally should, and I should probably be in bed, but here we are doing this instead. Don't judge me. I made it this far. What was I gonna say? I feel like these glasses, they're blue light blockers, obviously, because I have perfect vision. Amazingly, like, I feel like, you know how we joke about, like, oh, Kendrick Lamar's short because God had to humble him real quick. If he was tall, he'd be too powerful. Same thing with Bruno Mars and stuff. Why was I not humbled in any way? Oh, you know what? I do have mental illness. That is true. That is true. That is quite humbling. That is quite humbling. When you crying in the bathtub with some potato chips, that's humbling. Never mind. I get it. Never mind. I really was about to say I'm an able-bodied, 100%, you know, ooh, ain't nobody touching me. Own brain can't produce right. So let me shut up. Anyway, but I feel like these glasses really make me bring out the black grandma or the auntie in me. The auntie, you know? The auntie that you don't want coming around because you bark at me, I bark back. That's how I feel. I feel good. I feel like that song, like, I put on my jewelry just to go to the bodega, and I keep it with me so that I'm feeling safer. Jewelry, you know, I feel like that. I feel like that. I'm loving it. I'm loving it right now. Anyway, back to the stats, because that's what we're doing. Yeah, so standard authors' favorites, we already did that. Oh my gosh, I didn't write down my least favorites of 2021, but I'll just go over to my thing here, my least favorites. Oh, how many are there? How many? It seems like I really went through it this year, but I like looking at this, as I was compiling the stats, I used links and charts and whatever, you know, material girl, did my charts, but looking at them, I was like, you really didn't, it was pretty even, honestly. I was surprised by how even my ratings were. I felt cheated, because it's like the turmoil that a 1-star read puts upon you, it lasts so long that it makes you think that it's like, oh, this is bigger than life. I'm gonna have like 32 1-stars, and it's like, you've had 12, sis. Or you had like 5, like, calm down. It's not that bad. You had a pretty good year, actually. And I'm like, but it felt terrible sometimes. I think the book I hated the most. It's not Night Film. I think it is Do You Dream of Terror 2 by Timmy-O. I do think that is the worst book, because first of all, I picked it up, I thought it was an Asian woman, Timmy-O. It was a black girl. I was like, okay, cool. Still getting the POC, I'm good, that's cool. But then it made me sadder, because I hated it as much as I did, and a black girl wrote it. And then I struggled with that thing where it's like, you just want, if it's a black person, you rooting for them and you just want them to succeed. So when they don't succeed, now you're like, is critique still valid? Yes, it is, but it just don't feel right no more, you know? It's like when the black family on Family Feud is just really doing you dirty. They really doing you wrong. Like, did y'all not have breakfast? Like, what's going on? Like, why are the clocks not ticking? Why the brain not, you know, what's going on? But anyway, Timmy-O, that book was awful. It was so bad. I probably will do a video on it, because I just can't right now. I can't even get into it. I really have kept my emotions on that book in a box, and if I unleash it, then I have to get sleep tonight, and I just can't. So anyway, we will probably do a video. We'll save that for the new year though, because let me have peace until then, because no. But that was my number 1, probably least favorite. Number 2, Night Film, because that was dumb, and she's a woman, but I feel like she really did try to write like a man that time. And if I met her, I would say that you write like a man, and that is not a compliment in any form, any sense of the word. You write like a man in the worst way possible. You write like a man who hates his mother, and only cares about women once he has a daughter. That's how you write. That's how you write. And I think you need to work on that, because something is wrong with us inside. I feel like, who are we writing for? Who are we writing for? Are we writing for, and if we are writing for ourselves, once again, something is wrong inside. Marisha, we need help. We need to do something better. Okay, but anyway, so Night Film was like probably, after that, my least favorite one. What else did the ones we're meant to find? Oh my gosh. That one was so disappointing to me. And that was so disappointing. I should do a video on that too. I should. I completely forgot about it in a way, but I will, because everybody had their eye on that on Goodreads, because the cover designer or whatever, the person who did the art for it, they did their dang job. They did their job. They was like, I know I'm getting paid. I know I'm getting paid. I know that. I know this book don't do well. You can't look at me, boo. You can't look at me. Because that art was gorgeous. Gorgeous. Everybody was just eyeing this book up and down. Scrumptious, umptious. It was like, I'm going to read you. I don't even care. I don't care what it's about. I'm going to read it. You know, that's exactly how beautiful it was. A beautiful cover. Story, I don't know. Characters, awful. Characters made me so mad. Romance, awful. Genre, I hate too. The thing where it's like, we still doing the thing with robots where it's like, do they have a heart? Do they have emotions? Can they love? Can they love? You know? And I'm like, I don't care. And why do we want them? Why are we so involved with robots having emotions anyway? Why aren't we tired of emotions ourselves? Give me the new genre of like humans trying to oh my god, there's a word I wanted to use. Excise? Not excise. Like rid themselves of emotions. But I wanted to be very specific. I can't remember the word at all. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, I want a genre of people trying to like rid themselves of emotion, therefore they're like trying to become robots or something. I feel like that's more on the mark for where I am in life. Life would be so much better if I just didn't have feelings, you know? Life would be so much better if I just went through it like just objectively. Like just, you know, noticing things, taking in that information, making no real emotional connection to it whatsoever. That would suit me greatly. That would suit me greatly. If robots don't have emotions, I don't know why they want them. Like, it's so annoying. Anyway, but yeah, that one was bad. That one got on my nerves. I was like, so disappointing. The Vanishing Half was a big letdown for me, obviously, and for reasons I don't feel like going into again because I already did that. I'm like, what? Is there another book that really got me like just mad? Just mad. Do You Dream of Terror 2 and Night Film really just take the cake on that. Those were the only books I really think that I was just like, let me go a few rounds with the author and the entire publishing team. Like, let me just wait outside the publishing house in the parking lot, you know, just block them in and be like, nah, you know what's coming. You know what's coming, fam. Don't even play with me. Don't even play with me. You know what you did. You know what you did. Those are the only two. Those are the only two. Yeah, so those are my least favorites. And then let's get into my charts a little bit. So first, my first chart is like the ratings of the books I read in 2021. It's an accidental bar graph. I read 64 books in total, right? As of making this video. And the books I rated 5 stars, I read 15. 15 books I rated 5 stars. Now a lot of those were just like manga chapters, you know, or issues of My Hero Academia. Oh my god, no, he's right here. I was about to say he fell and I never picked him up, but I mean, I just suffocated him in the seat. Anyway, but My Hero Academia issues, you know. So, how do you rate those? The only ones I gave some 4 stars, and that was because they were about the villains. I didn't give a crap about them. You know, I was like, I'm not here for you. I don't care about your issues. I don't care what you're trying to put together. I don't care about your backstory. I don't give a crap. I don't care. I was like, they just don't care about them. So anyway, I was like, those chapters I would like really roll my eyes through. I was like, give me back to my baby. Give me back to the original plot of the movie, please. You know, so anyway, 15 books, rated 5 stars. Number all, what? Overall rating, like the one I rated, the 4 stars is the one I rated the most. I guess rated the most? How am I speaking? Like, how do I make words right now? How do words? How do sentences? Okay, anyway, but like I gave 16 books 4 stars, and then 15 books 3 stars. Like I gave the same amount 5 stars as 3 stars. 5 stars, like I it was amazing, and 3 stars I liked it. I'm like, that's weird. And then for 2 stars, I gave, I don't know what that is. So maybe 13. I think I did 13 books 2 stars, and then 5 books were 1 stars. 5 books. Yeah. Anyway, that should equal out into 64. Who cares? I'm really tired at this point. I'm just giving myself a pass because this was all very last minute too. I'm just like, why did you do this? Okay, so, and then my second little graphy graph is a pie chopped, or very thin donut chop. Yeah. And it's the genres I read. So, nonfiction, the genre I read the most was comics, I guess. I just classified those as comics. 32.8% comics, but I'm also gonna get you numbers because ain't nobody doing all that. So 21 comics were read, okay? And then after that, it's a tie between YA and contemporary, 18.8%, or in human terms, 12. Yeah, 12 for each of those. 12 contemporary, 12 YA. Yeah. And then after that, it's a tie between thrillers and science fiction, 10.9%, or 7 for each of those. 7 thrillers, 7 science fiction, and then 5 nonfiction. So, yeah. It's so weird to me how, like, even that is. Why? I'm like, that's really weird. I don't know why. So I'm like, it's kind of creepy to me. Like, I'm just like, am I that like formulaic subconsciously? Like I'm just like, oh, it's time for this now. And then it's so weird. I don't know why. It creeps me up. I'm going creeped out. I wish I was like kind of more sporadic, but I don't know. Yeah, so those are the thrillers. Those are the genres and the ratings of like my stars and all that. And let's see. Yeah, and then I have some other things that I kind of counted out. So I read, of 64 books I've read, 24 were written by male authors. Now those are like repeat offenders too, because, why did I say that? Repeat offenders, I don't know. Anyway, but Horikoshi, because like, he's male, right? This guy, I read like 10 issues because I got into the manga this year after like finishing season 4 of the anime or whatever. So yeah, 24 of those were by male authors. And I think I read 2 works of Tochi Onyebuchi, and then I think Justin A. Reynolds was in there. And Thomas Sowell was a man. He wrote Black Rednecks and Right Nibbles. Well, liberals, whatever. Yeah, so I read, out of 64, I read 44 books written by people of color, also counting Horikoshi. So 44 books written by people of color, and yeah, those are like, that's it. That's my stats for 2021. 64 books, not too shabby. I guess if I was like to subtract 21 from that, because those are my comics, and if I wanted to be that stuck up comics don't count person, how much would that be? That would be like 43 books read. still pretty good, but I'm like, it's 64. Let's just go 64. Because if audiobooks count, then graphic novels definitely count, you know? So I think all books should count. If you got the story and it wasn't on TV, you're good. You're good. So yeah, that's it. That's my wrap up of 2021. You know, I'll probably do, the next video I do will probably be like, you know, what I want to read in 2022. But I don't really think I have that long of a list. We'll just see how it goes. Like I'm reading, actually, no, I do have I have 3 books right now that I'm kind of on. 3 books right now that I'm kind of, you know, in my possession that I'm gonna read. But I don't really, it's so crazy. People were asking me like, what movies do you want to see? And I'm like, I have no idea what's out. I have no idea what's coming out. I have no idea. I really don't know. I really don't. So, you know, same thing with books really. Like I don't know what's coming out. Like I feel like I've been so focused on like just living my life and getting through it day by day. I haven't even looked forward to anything. I don't know anything anymore. I'm just trying to be here tomorrow. I don't know. I don't have a plan other than to just make it through sunrise to sunset. That's it. Nothing else matters. So yeah, anyway, that's it. That's my year of books in 2021. Pretty good. I'm probably gonna pledge like the same number of books to read next year, because like I'm pledging 12 books to read, right? Because there's a number of years that I wasn't able to complete my Goodreads challenges, but I think I always pledged like 12 or 15 and I couldn't make it. So now I just want to make up for all those years, and so I'll just do like 12 books until I make it up for those years. I was like slacking and not reading, you know? So, yeah. Tell me how your year and books went, you know, your favorites, the ones you hated that made you just spitting mad, tell me about the authors that you're like, you know, you're in my heart now. Tell me about the authors you have your eyes on, you know, tell me what you want to read, I guess. Yeah, just share in the comments. And congrats on getting through the year, you know. This has been your girl, Sketchbooks and Bookbooks. Go read a book, have some thoughtsy-watsies, share them, you know. Have a discussion. I don't know. Do you. Have a great day though. And see you in the new year.